Namaskar, welcome to Honest Astrologer, and today we start with our Mahabharata series. And like I said, this is not going to be a religious ceremony. It would be more of a philosophical class. So today we start with lessons from Mahabharata. Lesson number one: decision making. The first two chapters of this book, Mahabharata by Sri Rajgopalachari, they talk about how this epic was created, and they tell about the origin story of Bhishma. And there is a sheer contrast between these two, and we'll talk about it. So the first thing that happens is the first chapter tells about how Rishi Vedvyas conceives the concept of Mahabharata. Some people say it's history. I'm more towards the history wala thing, because there are a lot of places related to Mahabharata up to and including Kurukshetra where I went. Then there are some who say, okay, it's mythology, some say it's a mix of both. So I'm agnostic. My bigger point of view is what are the lessons that we can learn from this epic. So, number one lesson to be learned from this epic is decision making and how it happens. So, the first chapter of Mahabharata deals with how Rishi Vedvyas wants to write this entire saga, and while he has it in his mind, he wants somebody very, very smart to write it down. So he meditates on Lord Brahma and does his tapasya. Lord Brahma appears and he says, I have this excellent epic in my mind, but I need somebody really, really smart to take dictation and write it. And Bhagwan Brahma directs him to Lord Ganesha. Now we are starting this saga with on the day of Ashtami in the Navratri, and of course, whenever you do anything auspicious, you have to invoke the blessings of Lord Ganesha. So Shri Ganpataya Namaha, and we invoke Lord Ganesha and we request his help in taking on this mega project and share the learnings of Sanatan Dharma. So, upon the instruction of Lord Brahma, Vedvyasa meditates on Lord Ganesha, and after a while, Lord Ganesha appears. And Vedvyasa makes a request that I am going to dictate. So, I have this mega story in my mind, I want to dictate it. I need somebody really, really smart to write it. And nobody in the universe is smarter than Lord Ganesha, the Lord of Buddhi itself. So that is why Ganesha has a Buddha connection, right? Buddha is the upper part, the brains of Ganesha. Ketu is the lower part of Ganesha. So we'll discuss that. So Lord Ganesha says, okay, I will take this assignment up, but you must continue to dictate. The moment you stop, I will stop writing. Now here you see the smartness of the people involved, right? Then Vedvyasa says, fine, I agree to your condition, but you must understand everything before you write. So Brahmaji, while he is a very smart intellectual god, he directed Vedvyas to Lord Ganesha because he knew Ganesha was the perfect man for this assignment. He did not get into that, okay, I'll do it. No. Second thing, Ganesha himself knew that I should put some boundaries, some terms and conditions so that it doesn't take a very long time. Three, Vedavyasa knew that it was almost an impossible condition to dictate without stopping. So he put up a condition in front of Lord Ganesha, which he accepted. So all these three smart men created a condition which was conducive to each other but still created some boundaries. Now we will see how characters in Mahabharata make impulsive decisions, which is in stark contrast to the creators of Mahabharata. So let's start with the first chapter related to Mahabharata, the story of Bhishma. So it starts with King Shantanu. So when King Shantanu was going on a hunt through the banks of Ganga, he saw a very, very beautiful woman and like, I want you to be my wife. So in those days, things were very, very simple. You could walk up to a lady, she could say yes, she could say no, or she could put a condition. And there was no such thing like an arranged marriage. Very, very rarely. It was either a swamvar or a love marriage, right? Even in Swamvar, the female was empowered to choose her mate. And in love marriage, a woman could go, a man could go. If they both agree, they can get married. So that beautiful lady who was Ma Ganga herself in her human form, she said, I will agree to marry you, but only on a condition that you will not stop me from doing anything, no matter how good, bad, or ugly it is. And King Shantanu agreed. So rule number one, do not agree to something when you do not know the terms and conditions. हम लोग click कर देते हैं ना कहीं भी, right? And we sign it anywhere. We should be careful. Terms and conditions, niyam wa sharte lagu is a very, very dangerous thing. I remember Godfather, and there was a scene where Godfather has to go and meet Salazzo. And his son asked, Pop, what are you going to say to his proposal? He said, how do I know? Till the time I haven't heard the proposal in its entirety. So that's a very smart man. Here, the king, without understanding, without knowing what the lady has in mind, agreed. This is when the troubles start. Okay. So, with time, they get married, they are blessed with children. So, whenever a son is born, Ma Ganga will go drown him in the water of the Ganges, and the king will not be able to do anything. So, this happened 7 times. Then, 8th time, the king has had enough, and Shantanu stopped her. What are you doing? And I'm not going to let you do. And who on earth are you who's killing her own children? Then she revealed, I am the river Ganga in human form. And these are Ashta Vasus, the 8 Vasus, 8 celestial beings, who were cursed by Vasishtha. And they had to be born as humans. Now again, going into the background of this story, again one bad decision. So 8 Vasus were on sort of a picnic with their wives when they saw Nandini, the cow of sage Vasishtha. And the ladies wanted to get that cow, but initially the men resisted. They said, look, this is Vasishtha cows. We are already immortals. We have nothing to gain by taking this cow except the wrath of Rishi Vasishtha. But the ladies insisted, and then one of those males went ahead and took it with him. When Vasishtha got to know, he cursed them that they all would have to be born as human beings and suffer. When they realized, they returned the cow, they pleaded for the Rishi's grace and forgiveness. Rishi Vasishtha said, okay, 7 of you who had little to do with it, you will be born and you will be very quickly liberated from Nityaloka. The one who opened the cow, Prabhas, the Vasu, would have to be reborn. He will have a very illustrious life, but he would have to suffer a lot. And thus, the 8th Vasu, Prabhas, was born as Bhishma, whose initial name was Devavrat. Now, she said this 8th child was supposed to live long, so I expected something like this to happen. So I will take him with me and I will train him for you, and when he is ready, I am going to return him to you. So it is said that once the child was 14 or 17 or something, once he was a young man, King Shantanu again was moving in the same area. Of course, now he was elder. And he saw a child who was building bridges across the Ganga with his arrows. So it was no mean feat, it was something incredible. So he stood there just amazed at the dexterity of this child, and then came Ma Ganga and she said, this is your son, the divine Devavrata. He has been trained in arms by Parshuram and he has been trained in Niti by Shukra. So he is the perfect prince that can run your kingdom. He knows his Shastra, he knows his Shastra. He'll make a great king. So Shantanu was very happy. He brought Devavrata back to his palace. Now again something goes wrong. So King Shantanu remained more or less a celibate after Ma Ganga left him. But one day he saw a very pretty fisherwoman named Satyavati. And he was enamored and he wanted another wife now. So he went to the lady, proposed to her. She said, okay, go talk to my father. If he agrees, I would agree. He goes to the father and the father said, look, I will marry her to you, but only at one condition. if the son of this lady would become a king. And the king was horrified. He said, look, I have the perfect prince, I have Devrata. He is totally worthy of the throne. I am not going to take the throne away from him and make him second in command. So I refuse to this. So far, so good. Then Devrata looks at his father, who has been pining for that young woman, who was going frail, who had stopped eating, who was getting weaker, and is like, Father, what happened to you? And Shantanu sort of avoided the question. Then he talked to the spies and got to know what had happened. So he himself went to Satyavati's father and talked about getting Satyavati married to Shantanu. And the man again kept the same condition कि I want my grandchildren to become the king, but as long as you are there, there is no way they can stand up to you. And he said, fine, I give you my word, I will never become the king. So here we see the blind devotion of a son to his father. That is why I say Bhishma is a very, very Shani character. Okay? So I'll make an entire separate video on Bhishma and Shani. So now again an emotional decision is about to happen. Then he said, okay, I understand that you will stick to your word, you are a royal, you will stick to your promise. But you cannot promise on behalf of your children. Tomorrow, if you are blessed with sons, your sons will have your DNA, they will be divine. How would my grandchildren face up to them? And he had a point. We see how history proves this. So Bhishma said, fair enough, I will never get married, I will never have children, I will remain a celibate throughout my life. And when he said, it is said that, Devatas and Yakshas and Gandharvas showered him with flowers. We don't know if that happened. Or maybe they did it to glorify a son who made a very, very big sacrifice for his father. And he said, whosoever sits on that throne, I will look at him as a shadow of my father and I will serve that person as long as I am alive. And now we see the seeds of disaster are sown. So you see the difference between that enlightened trio of Vyasa, Brahma and Ganesha. Everybody thought, then gave a commitment. With Shantanu and Bhishma, you see emotional decisions. So when you make emotional, impulsive decisions, bad things come out of it. So Mahabharata rule number 1, use your head. Avoid making decisions when you are very emotional or when you are overwhelmed, and use less of your emotions and more of rationalism. Always think before you act. So with this a small lesson, I know this is more philosophical than a story part, we'll come to those, but I wanted to bring out the most important thing. Decision making and rationalism will see you through. Emotionalism, even men like Bhishma got ruined. So let's take a step towards rationalism. So with this, we come to the end. So I bow to Lord Ganesha and Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Ma.